Dreams, that's where I have to go to see your beautiful face anymore. I stare at a picture of you, listen to the radio, hope there's a conversation. Look at this. Marcy's here, Jessica's here. Okay, we're working. I had no idea whether this was going to work today or not. Welcome aboard. I am your KevinlyFather, Kevin Williams. We are in the middle of editing Trump's speech. And by editing, I mean we're just going to capture pieces of it and put it together for something we call Lost in Trumpslation. This was the speech from Saturday night, blah, blah, blah. If you're watching, you know this. I'm a devious liberal, according to Newsmax. And they are the max of the news. A lot of times I'll go like with semi-news. Like I'll turn on, I don't know, MSNBC or CNN. Those are like, CNN's like 3/4 news. But if I want max news, kind of sounds like snooze. But yeah, if I want to take a good nap, max news is the one for me. Anyway, I'm your friendly neighborhood devious liberal. And let's get right back into the speech. This is what we're looking for today. We're looking for Trump making errors. We're not even fact-checking because it's a waste of time, right? We'll do an episode of Shut the Fact Up later, maybe. I don't know. But we want to grab a couple of things. Number one, where he just screws things up, reading off the teleprompter, making mistakes, stuff like that. The other thing is no one's ever seen anything like it before. Numbers like nobody's ever seen. Stuff like that. We'll edit that all together. And for the people who decided not to watch Saturday, we're going to make it a nice 2-minute and 19-second news chunk and put it out there. So welcome aboard. By the way, I can't remember a time when I've been accused so many times over the course of a weekend of being a bot. And I wasn't even really on Twitter that much. But the first reaction is like, oh no, well no, what you're saying is not true. I can show you. Please provide me with your proof, and I will show you that you're being lied to. And then people immediately accuse me of being a bot. So I think I might just go like all video on Twitter. I wanted to show you guys this before we get going here. This is something that Aaron Rupar captured this morning, and it really should be the end of Trump. Let's take a look. It won't be.
How do we stop it?
Okay, so this is about the cyber attacks, the holding companies for ransom by attacking them and shutting down their cyber systems. Something that, I remember I was working as a tech worker, upgrading people for Y2K. And at that point, explaining to people, look, you're a worldwide law firm. In fact, this is the company I'm thinking of at the time is Perkins Coie, who full disclosure, I've used Perkins Coie as to defend myself. So I highly value Perkins Coie. But at the time, this is Perkins Coie spent a bunch of money upgrading the Y2K, which turned out not to be a thing. But at the time, all of us doing the upgrades were telling their tech team, hey, you guys gotta fix your cybersecurity. Like there are holes here. And now the tech team was very responsive and said, yeah, upper management needs to be convinced of this because it's not really a thing yet. And anyway, long story short, I haven't heard of a single breach with Perkins Coie, but this scene is replayed in every company across the United States. This should have been addressed. That being said, every week we hear about another software opening in Microsoft or Apple. It doesn't matter. Linux. There are openings that can be exploited. So we need to come up with a national policy. And that policy is everybody go back to paper.
Well, that's here to stay, according to the Commerce Secretary. How do we stop it? I mean, the Commerce Secretary says, well, the companies should take action.
Go back to a much more old-fashioned form of accounting and things,
Accounting. That's going to fix it. Because the ransom people are attacking the accounting. They don't care about the accounting.
I have a son who's so good with computers.
He's 6'47". That's what I heard.
He's a young person.
By the way, I'm not picking on Barron. Barron is a kid. He can be 6 foot whatever. Good for him. I hope he likes volleyball or basketball. Good on you, Barron. Nothing against Barron. We keep the kids out of the conversation, out of the insults. Barron happens to be quite tall. That's fine.
And
actually, Barron, you should take up tennis because your mom likes tennis apparently, and being tall gives you an advantage in service.
I mean, he can make these things sing, and when you put everything on internet and on all...
Put everything on internet. Not the internet. He does the opposite. You know how old people say, like, oh yeah, I was on the Facebook yesterday. Oh, check it out on the Google. He just says internet, which nobody says. He's not regular, which is why he has to wear the diapers.
Of these machines, you never see a piece of paper. I really think you have to go back to a different form.
By the way, at some point, most of us are going to be wearing diapers. I mean, come on. Will you? I mean, will I feel bad about it at the time? It depends. That's a diaper joke. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in an elderly person wearing a diaper. It's fine. But when that elderly person is specifically making fun of those who have different political views than themselves because they trip on some stairs, things which they have done themselves, when they claim to be some sort of Superman, some sort of Rocky in the ring, and they're using it, then it's okay. They open themselves up to that criticism. But does it affect his ability to govern? No, the fact that he's a moron affects his ability to govern. Once again, what do we do about the cyber attacks? We get rid of the computers.
Form of accounting.
Series of tubes.
A different form of
Who said that? That's a way back. Who said it? Remember, the internet is a series of tubes. It wasn't Trump. It was, who said that? It wasn't Cornyn. It was an old Republican senator, if I'm remembering correctly. Josh Hawley?
Compiling information, because anybody can break in. I mean, I see young people, they can't walk without computers, and what they can do with
I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Them is incredible. I'm witness to it because
it's the young people, by the way. The problem is the young people, because they can't walk without computers. Was it Grassley? Grassley said it was a series of tubes. I was thinking Grassley, but when I say old Republican senator, he's got to be the oldest now, right?
As a young person, my 15-year-old son is, he's just a genius with this stuff. And you have people that are going to break into systems. I think you have to go back and...
I wonder if Barron has like an Instagram and stuff like that. Can he... I don't know that he can have that sort of stuff. Do the Obama girls, do they have Instagram? I don't even know. Just because it would just be a series of constant attacks from people. If he does, Barron, if you have an Instagram account, if you're watching this right now, good on you. I hope you can. I hope you can function as a regular American kid, because that will help you combat what your father is feeding you on a constant basis.
You have to be much more reliant. There has to be much better security. And the kind of information they're getting is mind-boggling.
Yeah, that takes a lot of time. Stuart Varney is right. Oh, wait, there's more. Oh, that's it. Aaron cut it off right there. This is Aaron's recording. Play it again.
As a young person, my 15-year-old son is, he's just a genius with this stuff. And you have people that are going to break into systems. I think you have to go back and you have to be much more reliant. There has to be much better security.
You have to be much more reliant on paper? Randy Rainbow has a new... We can't watch the Randy Rainbow, unfortunately, because that will be another YouTube strike. I'm trying to fight the strike from OAN. YouTube has replied to me and said, but you've done basically is open yourself up to be sued by OAN. So OAN may be suing me because now they have all my information. That's what happens when you say this is not a valid claim, this is fair use, this is a political figure, a relevant political figure, and we are opening up a town hall discussion on that figure, totally protected by fair use. You give your information to YouTube and say, hey, this is wrong. YouTube passes that information to OAN, and OAN now has all the information they want or they need in order to serve me and sue me. So I might be getting sued by OAN. Hey, if you'd like to contribute to that legal defense fund, KevinlyFather, Cash App, PayPal, blah, blah, blah. By the way, Donald Trump himself does not use email. Yeah. The whole, like, Hillary's email all during 2016, there was no Trump email because he doesn't use it. And we said, let's put that granddad in charge of the country. The guy who's never used an email. Oh my God. How are you going to handle the cyber? Let's go back to Trump here. Let's get started on Trump. I don't think we even got started. What is it, 10 o'clock? Okay, here we go.
Cost of living increase of less than 1%. We would have gotten at least $5 billion from them. We fully rebuilt the U.S. military and created the first new branch of the United States of less than 1%. We would have gotten at least $5 billion from them. We fully rebuilt the U.S. military and created cost of living. Think of that.
Does he call it the bilitary, or am I just hearing things wrong? Does he say the U.S. bilitary?
Cost of living increase of less than 1%. We would have gotten at least $5 billion from them. We fully rebuilt the U.S. military and created the first new branch of the United States Armed Forces in 75 years called the Space Force, so desperately needed. A lot of people, a lot of things happening right here on the Space Force, too. We ended the forever wars in...
Desperately needed? Who desperately needed Space Force? We had NASA already, and we had the Air Force.
Iraq and Syria and Somalia and Afghanistan, we brought them back home. And this is just the finishing little, we brought them back home. We're down to very few soldiers in any of the forever wars in Iraq and Syria and Somalia. The Space Force, so desperately needed. A lot of people, a lot of things happening right here on the Space Force, too. We ended the forever wars in Iraq and Syria and Somalia and Afghanistan. We brought them back home. And this is just the finishing little, we brought them back home. We're down to very few soldiers in any of those places. And I'm very proud of it. These were the endless wars, so bad, so bad. I'd visit soldiers at Walter Reed Hospital where the doctors are truly fantastic, what they can do.
It's the C-SPAN pausing it.
But I'd see these young people that were just blown to pieces, and it's so sad. I'd be at Dover where these magnificent machines would come in, the big cargo planes, and that door would open up, and there'd be a coffin in the back. And the military, the soldiers would take that coffin and walk it.
Oh, they were military soldiers?
Off the plane, and I'd be with the parents an hour before and would be talking, and I'd say to the general in charge, General, the parents seem to be okay. And he'd say, no, they're not, sir. They're not okay.
By the way, C-SPAN is doing its pausing thing. I don't know why. I've written to C-SPAN going like, why? Why does it just do, it's always done this. Why? Why does it pause every few seconds? No response.
The general, I'm having a great conversation. And the mothers oftentimes would say, to be okay.
Hold on.
Off the plane. And I'd be with the parents an hour before and would be talking. And I'd say to the general in charge, General, the parents seem to be okay.
Really?
And he'd say, no, they're not, sir. They're not okay. I said, General, I'm having a great conversation. And the mothers oftentimes would say, oh, my son was such a great football player. Sir, he had an arm that was so powerful. He was so strong. And he could throw a ball so far. He was such a good player, or other things. They tell me these stories about, they just were so in love with telling the stories about their son or their daughter. In some cases, their daughter. And then I'd look at the general and say, well, it's amazing the way they can handle it. And then the plane would come in and the general would say, sir, it's not going to be good. And that door would open up, that big back door, right, would open up from this incredible, powerful machine that can lift up army tanks like it's nothing. And it would open up, and there'd be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 coffins. And I'd see the same people that were talking to me so jubilant about their child, how great the child was, would start screaming, screaming. Screams like I've never heard before. It was the most terrible.
This man has no empathy. I've never heard him tell this story in this way. He is 100% a sociopath. He is no. The general had to tell him that the parents are going to go through grief like a human. Oh my God.
Would open up from the plane would come with their daughter. He could, I'm having a, and I'd say to the general in charge, General, I'm just blown to pieces. And it's so sad. I'd be at Dover where these magnificent machines would come in, the big cargo planes, and that door would open up and there'd be a coffin in the back. And the military, the soldiers would take that coffin and walk it off the plane. And I'd be with the parents an hour before and we'd be talking. And I'd say to the general in charge, General, the parents seem to be okay. And he'd say, no, they're not, sir. They're not okay. I said, General, I'm having a great conversation. And the mothers oftentimes would say, oh, my son was such a great football player. Sir, he had an arm that was so powerful. He was so strong. And he could throw a ball so far. He was such a good player, or other things. They tell me these stories about, they just were so in love with telling the stories about their son or their daughter. In some cases, their daughter. And then I'd look at the general and say, well, it's amazing the way they can handle it. And then the plane would come in and the general would say, sir, it's not going to be good. And that door would open up, that big back door, right, would open up from this incredible, powerful machine that can lift up army tanks like it's nothing. And it would open up, and there'd be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 coffins. And I'd see the same people that were talking to me so jubilant about their child, how great the child was, would start screaming, screaming. Screams like I've never heard before. It was the most terrible thing to watch. And the general in charge would say, sir, you're going to see things that you maybe will not have seen. Like what, General? He said, mothers and wives and even fathers sometimes breaking through the military ranks and jumping on top of the coffin. And I got to see that one time where a mother was just, she was just absolutely, she was devastated. She jumped on, and these incredible, extremely fit soldiers are taking that coffin and would jump onto the coffin, and they would just keep walking. They wouldn't do a thing. They would just keep walking. And the mother was on the coffin, and this is for Afghanistan and for Iraq and for these other places where so many mistakes were made, where we shouldn't be. And we can't do that. And we're moving them out. We're moving them back. 21 years, you know, you've heard 19 years, but it's not 19. Now it's 21 years in Afghanistan. It's enough. And we haven't lost a soldier in Afghanistan since January of last year. We haven't lost a soldier. Not one single soldier has been lost. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
It's not 21 years. September 11th happened in 2001. It's coming up on 20 years. It's 19 years right now. Well, how can... By the way, never forget. Apparently, he's done it. Oh my God. What a complete sociopath. Just... wow. But he got to see it. He got to see it. Probably actually never saw it. Probably heard someone talking about an incident like that. And now he sees, just like he saw Steve Scalise get shot. Remember, he said that he did that.
So it's hard to believe the records the Biden administration is doing, and I'm very glad that he's continuing to move them out. I think it would be very hard to stop, to be honest. I think, frankly, stopping would be very, very hard. But
easy peasy. He's president. He's commander-in-chief now. Biden is.
So I'm very honored by the fact that they're continuing to bring those soldiers home where they belong. And we have...
Okay, this is way too much pausing from C-SPAN. Hold on. I'm going to check and see if maybe C-SPAN had it up on their YouTube feed as well, which is often quite a bit better. Give me a second here. C-SPAN. And there it is. Let me see if they broadcast it. This is 7 minutes and 8 seconds. Yeah, they only broadcast about 7 minutes of it, unfortunately. Do I want to go to another feed? Yeah, I do, actually. Let's hold on. We'll go to Right Side Broadcasting. It should be up still. And let's see. Now it's going to be a hassle to find it. Give me a second here.
And they have bad policy now.
No, that's terrible audio. Yeah, okay, we're just going to stick with C-SPAN, I guess. Yeah, here we go.
Other things to possibly get ready for, because, you know, the bigger ball game, we have to be respected as a military power, because if we're not respected, these other countries that are very big, very powerful countries, they will take advantage of us, and you know what I mean by that. So we cannot be doing what we've been doing for the last very long period of time. When we got into Iraq, I said as a private individual many years ago, don't go, but if you're going to go,
not true.
Keep the oil.
He said, well, I guess.
We
War
didn't
crime.
keep the oil.
War crime.
And they make a lot of money with that oil. I know how much money they make. They make a lot of money. And we are looked upon as not very smart people and not a very smart country.
Correct.
So we're doing things that nobody thought were possible. The radical Democrats
was possible.
Smart people and not a very smart country. So we're doing things that nobody thought were possible. The radical Democrat Party has become consumed by the unquenchable thirst of power. You know that. I don't know. You know, it's a term that I've heard for a long time. They want power, power, power. I don't know. I think it's power, it's money. I think it's a lot of things. I don't think it's just power. It's too ridiculous. They want to take away freedom of speech. They want to take away religious liberty. And Biden has already introduced legislation in Congress to take away your guns. You know, your guns are under siege. You do know that.
No, he hasn't.
Told you all these things. Again, nobody ever thought what is happening would happen. In Texas, I said, we're going to win. We won Texas by a lot. We won Texas but they were against oil, guns, and God. And then you'd listen to the fake news. It's going to be a very close race in Texas.
Okay, let's see where we are here. This is about an hour 8 in. So we're going to bring over another feed. Here's Facebook. We'll do the local television station on Facebook.
When he campaigned 2,000%, and that'll go up. And same people that were talking to me so jubilant about their child. How great.
Yeah, not bad. Here we go.
Last year, we haven't lost a soul. Not one single under siege. You do know that.
Here we go.
I told you all these things.
That's pretty fast. Hold on. I got to pump up the volume on him here. Let's go there.
Again, nobody ever thought what is happening would happen. In Texas, I said, we're going to win. We won Texas by a lot. We won Texas but they were against oil, guns, and God. And then you'd listen to the fake news. It's going to be a very close race in Texas. It wasn't very close at all. Republicans must never waver in protecting the Second Amendment and keep and bear arms. We have to have that power to keep and bear arms. If we don't, we will have a problem like nobody's ever seen before. But they want to take away your guns, and I said it before the election, and I say it after the election.
Dag nabbit, it's gonna.
The Biden administration has also issued
Facebook doesn't have an easy back thing here. Hold on, let's go back. Let's see. I don't even. Maybe I can just do it with the. Yes, I can. Okay, they've got. I figured Facebook out, guys. I got it nailed.
Very close race in Texas. It wasn't very close at all. Republicans must never waver in protecting the Second Amendment and keep and bear arms. We have to have that power to keep and bear arms. If we don't, we will have a problem like nobody's ever seen before. But they want to take away your guns, and I said it before the election, and I say it after the election. The Biden administration has also issued regulations to indoctrinate America's school children with poisonous and divisive left-wing doctrines, such as critical race theory, and exact opposite of the American belief that we all are created equal in the holy image of God. We have a group of people, I don't know where they come from, but it's terrible. Just as the state, holy image of wing doctrines, such as critical race theory, and exact opposite of the American belief that we all are created equal in the holy image of God. We have a group of people, I don't know where they come from, but it's terrible. Just as the state.
We have a group of people, I don't know where they come from, but it's terrible. All right.
House of Representatives has done right here in North Carolina. Republicans at every level should move immediately to ban critical.
Oh my God, this is so shaky. We might go back to C-SPAN.
Race theory in our schools. And we should ban it in workplaces. We should ban it in our states. And we should ban it in the federal government. And it should be done immediately.
Wow, way too loud. Sorry, guys.
Should be done very quickly. Washington Democrats are also pushing legislation to spend billions and billions of dollars on phony civic education, giving students academic credit to show up at protests. Can you believe that? And make themselves into left-wing activists. And how badly do they treat people that tend to be on the right compared to people that are on the radical left? Look at what happened in Portland. Nothing's happening with these people. And they do kill people, and they burn down buildings.
And they killed that guy. The U.S. Marshals killed that guy who shot somebody. They killed him. So I don't know how nothing is happening, but he's dead.
And they go after federal buildings, and nothing happens. And people are...
Well, I mean, except for the part where they're arrested and then shot.
Damn angry about it. If government-run schools are going to indoctrinate children with radical ideas, Republicans must immediately pass legislation to empower every parent in America to opt out of the insanity and send their child to the public, private, charter, or religious school of their choice.
They can. They can do that right now. There's no legislation needed. You don't have to send your kid to public school. You can send your kid to another school, or you can homeschool your kid. No, all 50 states, and I haven't checked these laws, but I will bet you $100 right now. There's no state in the union that says you have to go to this particular school. You cannot educate your child by other means. Not one.
The Socialist Democrats' quest for whatever it is they're looking for, because nobody knows, I don't even think they know, truly knows no bounds. The slander that they cause, they slander our country.
The slander that they cause? No, that is not what the teleprompter says. What do you think it's going to be, guys? What word did he misread? Let's find out together. Hold on. The slander that they cause.
The Socialist Democrats' quest for whatever it is they're looking for, because nobody knows, I don't even think they know, truly knows no bounds. The slander that they cause, they slander our country, disparage our founding, divide our children. And as we've seen time and time again in recent years, the left is willing to weaponize the law itself to persecute their political opponents.
Maybe he just threw in slander as a... Maybe the teleprompter said they slander our country? The slander that they cause? I don't know.
People in this room that have been persecuted.
No, these are new glasses. They're too wide for my face today? Oh, okay.
In New York, radical left prosecutors are right now spending vast amounts of time and money threatening families and trying to destroy the lives of innocent people, really, really good people, in their crusade to inflict pain on me. The radical left movement in New York, there's no place where it's worse or more corrupt. And most importantly, to stop our movement, 75 million voters plus, plus, plus. That's what I say.
Well, it was 74 plus.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars of
But 75 plus, plus, plus? Sure.
Radical left Democrat money have been paid to these prosecutors in the form of campaign contributions. Go get Trump. Go get him.
Oh, Tracy, not talk about my glasses, but I bought like a 5-pack. These are just readers. So I bought like a 5-pack for $20 on Amazon. So I'm trying to get Bezos to the moon.
And now a new group of far-left Democrats are seeking the prosecutor's
But yeah, all 5 have slightly different frames. They're thinner than the old ones.
Office, all fighting for who will be the toughest on Trump. They're going to get elected. Whoever's the vicious, the most tough. They don't know anything about me. We're going to get Trump. What did he do? Well, we don't know, but we'll figure it out. Washington Post reported the other day they've gotten millions of pages of documents. Well, when did he do a deal? Oh, did he do another deal? They're going through every deal I've ever done.
Okay.
Millions and millions of pages. If there's a comma mistake,
no.
If there's a misspelling,
no.
It's problems. You know what? It's a
no.
disgrace to our country.
It's
not. Prosecutorial misconduct.
It's law and order.
In search of a crime. It's a fishing expedition, and the Supreme...
Well, you've got multiple witnesses saying this is what you did. You committed crimes. You've got your former attorney specifically detailing how you committed crimes. So yeah, they're looking into that.
The Supreme Court of the United States should not have allowed it to happen. Shouldn't have allowed it. And they mentioned...
If only you had the chance to appoint people to the Supreme Court.
It can't be a fishing expedition. This is the ultimate fishing expedition.
Yeah, but the Supreme Court said that it wasn't. That's the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court.
It's been a 5-year-long witch hunt, hoax after hoax. Russia, 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 Ukraine.
Not a hoax. Not a hoax.
The Mueller hoax. Look at the Mueller.
That's Russia, Russia, Russia. It was not a hoax.
Scam. How well did he do before Congress? It wasn't too good, was it?
No, he did actually very fine. He said that a president can be prosecuted after leaving office, specifically you.
Lie after lie, corrupt investigation after corrupt investigation. Do you remember when they found out it was Hillary Clinton and the Democrats that paid for the dossier, the fake news dossier?
Yeah, that was before. That wasn't an investigation. That was known. Perkins Coie, by the way, was the law firm that the Democrats used.
Fake dossier.
By the way, the Democrats weren't the first people to pay for the dossier. It was started by the Free Beacon, which is a Republican publication.
It was Hillary Clinton.
And that was, we think, was it Ted Cruz's campaign? You know what? Don't quote me on this. It's so long ago now. But yeah, it was Republican investigation that once Donald Trump won the nomination, they're like, oh, all right, does anybody else want to take over this? And they approached the Clinton campaign and or the Democrats. And they said, look, we've got some material here. Would you like to keep this going? And they did. Phil Harmonic, are you serious about the whole Russia thing? I'll explain it briefly. But I don't know if you're being sarcastic here because we all were inundated with it for 3 years. But I'll be happy to explain if you're being serious, Phil.
Clinton. And they got more than the great James Patterson. This guy, Christopher Steele, I don't know who the hell he is, but he sure as hell hated me. It was a total phony deal, paid for by the Democrats and crooked Hillary Clinton. And nothing.
Oh, okay. So basically, the Russians interfered with the 2016 election. That's been established time and time again. So the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. Now, it's very important to understand the difference between collusion, which is not illegal, that's just cooperation, and conspiracy, which is a crime. Trying to cooperate with the other party in order to, and you have to have concrete evidence of cooperating with them to commit specific crimes, defrauding the American people, etc. Now, has collusion been proved? Absolutely. We know 100% for sure that Paul Manafort, the manager of the Trump campaign, handed proprietary polling to the Russians to specifically, and it's been established now by the Treasury Department since the election, that Kilimnik, who was a Russian agent, an intelligence agent working for Russia. This was long suspected, but it was never said specifically in concrete by the U.S. government. So, did collusion happen? Absolutely 100%. But the Mueller report did not look at collusion. They only looked for conspiracy. Can we prove an actual crime? That's the first 200 pages of the Mueller report. So everyone can say no collusion, because collusion was never investigated. Now, was conspiracy proven? No. And if you go to page 10 of the Mueller report, you'll see why. The Trump campaign lied. The Trump campaign deleted emails. The Trump campaign used encrypted software and refused the Mueller report access to the encryption. The Trump campaign pled the fifth. And as we know, Donald has said many times, you only plead the fifth if you're guilty. So the Trump campaign managed to obstruct justice enough so that the Mueller report couldn't prove conspiracy, not collusion. Again, they didn't look at collusion. That's page 2. They couldn't prove conspiracy, but the second half of the Mueller report, the last 200 pages, are 10 examples of obstruction of justice. And why that hasn't been brought out and charged yet, even brought out, I don't know. I don't know why the DOJ hasn't pursued those yet. Or they may be. We don't know. The DOJ doesn't usually announce its investigations. So we'll have to see what happens, which is a phrase I absolutely hate because it's one of Trump's favorite. But that's the Russia collusion in a nutshell. Now, here's why it's important. The Russians targeted people specifically. They knew if they could suppress the black vote. The reason Obama won was because the African-American male vote surged for Obama. And he won in 2008, 2012, because pretty much everybody else stayed the same. You've got your Republicans, you've got your Democrats, you got your independents that sometimes vote. If you can make those people swing one way or the other, you've won your election. So the Russians specifically targeted African-American males over Facebook and even more so over Instagram. For whatever reason, Instagram was even more effective. And spread disinformation about Hillary. Now, how do they know who the black people were? Because the Trump campaign gave them the information. The campaigns know who you are, what you like, what you dislike, what your skin color is, where you went to school. They have mountains of information about you. That Gallup and the other pollsters, they don't have access to that information. The campaigns spend millions on getting that information, on acquiring it, and Manafort just handed it over to the Russians. And the Russians systematically attacked in key states like Michigan, etc., specifically down to the block in neighborhoods that were predominantly African American, and they managed to suppress the African American vote from Obama to Hillary by 12%. And that is why Trump won the 2016 election, despite losing the popular vote by more than 3 million Americans. 3 million plus is what I say. Anyway, that's in a nutshell. Gerrymandering doesn't affect the national election, though, Stephanie.
What happens to them? And by the way, where's Durham? What happened to Durham? Has anyone seen Durham?
Durham was investigating the investigations. Nothing's come out yet. That was, they were, just you wait. This is going to turn the election when Durham released. It's now 6 months past the election. Still no Durham report. It's not going to say anything.
All of this for nothing. It's a shame. It's a shame. They do things a little bit differently. We'll never let it happen.
Yeah, the election in 2016 was was decided by about 107,000 votes, depending on how you do the math. But if you take this many votes in Michigan and this many votes in Pennsylvania, etc., you can swing the Electoral College one way or the other. Some people say about 70,000 votes. I go with the 107,000 because I when I studied it, it seemed to be, well, that's more probable in terms of the population base, etc. But yeah, it was very specific attacks. Remember when Hillary said, "I carry hot sauce in my purse"? The right used that as an attack against her because she's white. And that's an affront to black people, right? That a white person carries hot sauce in she does. Multiple aides have confirmed. Yeah, she always has to. She loves hot sauce. I like hot sauce. My daughter lives on Tabasco and Frank's hot sauce. Loves it. But for whatever reason, this was turned into white people are pandering to you if they say they like hot and spicy food. And that was one of the most popular memes, the most retweeted or shared memes in the 2016 election. That Hillary Clinton was pandering to the black community. Now, did it actually have an effect? No, there's no way to tell. You had Obama, the first black guy to run for president, and who disappeared? Black men. By the way, black women always show up for the Democratic Party in the highest ratio possible. Higher than white males, higher than white females, higher than Asians, higher than Hispanics. The black female has decided elections one way or the other for the Democratic Party for a millennia. Ever since the Democratic Party became the non-KKK party. But that's way back. Anyway, but it was black males. And that's who the Russians attacked specifically. All right, so that was 2016. Back to today, or at least Saturday.
Happen again. Now they just send the same information from the no collusion Mueller investigation to corrupt politicians in New York. They said
again, Mueller did not investigate collusion. Right there on page 2. We are not looking at collusion.
They've already gone over and over.
By the way, when I say stuff like this, don't believe me. Go look at it for yourself. I'll tell you where. Page 2 of the Mueller report and page 10 of the Mueller report. You can look at those things and they will verify what I've just been telling you. If you want to read the whole 200 pages, the original Mueller report, you'll see examples of the memes and stuff like that, talking about co-workers and a bunch of stuff that was propagated by the Russian disinformation service.
Send it into New York. Let the radical left prosecutors go after Trump. Just give it a shot, they say. Give it a shot. They failed in Washington. They failed all over the place. Between the impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, all of these investigations.
Neither of which were hoaxes. They were both impeachments. The impeachment happened both times.
Oh, shit, we failed. Prosecutors go after Trump. Just give it a shot, they say. Give it a shot. They failed in Washington. They failed all over the place. Between the impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, all of these investigations. Oh, shit, we failed. Let's send it to the radical left prosecutors in New York. Maybe they can have more luck.
Well, I don't know how big they failed because they managed to rig the election and defraud many, many states. Millions and millions of votes, remember? You lost. You're not the president anymore, which is why New York can now prosecute. Just FYI.
They'll never stop until November of 2024.
Yeah, I just captured that. I'll do that for you, Steph.
Won't stop. There's no better example of the Democrat and media than the 2020 election hoax.
Here we go.
As you know, the evidence is too voluminous to even mention. All you have to do is read the article in Time magazine.
Because there wasn't evidence. That was the problem. You have to have actual evidence. That's what a Trump-appointed judge said. You have to have accusations, and you have to have actual proof, of which we have none.
Cover story in Time magazine. I'm not a big fan. I was on the cover a lot.
A lot.
Perhaps a record.
Not a big fan. I made my own fake covers and hung them up at my golf courses, but I'm not a big fan. I'm going to make my own Newsmax magazine cover. Devious liberal.
A lot.
A
I
lot.
got to a point, if I was ever on the cover, I was on the cover of Time magazine before I did this political thing. And I read every word I studied. I wonder what that means. And it was actually a very good story. I used to actually get good press. Can you believe it? I guess that's how I got to be president when you think of it. But I used to get great press. But Time magazine did a
He is absolutely correct. He got good press for years. He is president because the media fell for his crap.
Themselves. They had to brag about what they did in November. They had to brag. And that story just goes 25% of the way. But if you take it a little bit further, you'll just read that and you see how corrupt. But that's the least of it. You look at what happened on that evening when the election was won. And all of a sudden, vast amounts of votes were taken in, just in certain states, swing states. Swing states that I was leading by a lot. Then all of a sudden, something happened. It was a disgrace to our country. And if you think people don't see it, people see it. People have seen it.
Okay.
The 2020 presidential election. That election, the 2020 presidential election.
Come on.
Amounts of votes were taken in, just in certain states, swing states. Swing states that I was leading by a lot. Then all of a sudden, something happened. It was a disgrace to our country. And if you think people don't see it, people see it. People have seen it. The 2020 presidential election. That election, the 2020 presidential election, was by far the most corrupt election in the history of our country. There's never been anything like this.
Okay.
They used COVID election. The 2020 presidential election was by far the most corrupt election in the history of our country. There's never been anything like this. They used COVID and they used the mail-in ballots to steal an election. It was the third world country election like we've never seen before. Look at what took place to steal an election. It was the third world country election like we've never seen before. Look at what took place. I want to congratulate, by the way, Republican state senators in Arizona and other places for their great work.
It's a swing we've never seen before. I want to congratulate, by the way, the state Republican senators who won in that same election, even though it was rigged like we've never seen before. But third world, and they won.
They're doing and exposing this fraud. And maybe, again, I have nothing to do with the Arizona situation. They're doing
what?
It, the state
Where was
Senate.
this?
And look at what took place. I want to
The
congratulate,
Arizona?
by the way, Republican state senators in Arizona and other places for their great work. That they are doing and exposing this fraud. And maybe, again, I have nothing to do with the Arizona situation. They're doing it, the state Senate of Arizona, because there are so many.
Arizona. Tracy, it's not disposable. I can't even speak. It's not disposable income. It's deplorable income.
Discrepancies, so many problems. And they've heard from so many people about the corruption and what took place. So they're doing it. Let's see what happens. They'll be finished in 3 or 4 weeks. It'll be very interesting. But I'll tell you, and maybe they'll find nothing. Maybe they'll say, it was a wonderful, perfect election. But maybe not. And now they're looking at it in Pennsylvania, and they're looking at it in Georgia, and they're looking at it in many other states because they're saying, you know, the same things happened to us. That election will go down as the crime of the century, and our country is being destroyed by people who perhaps have no right to destroy it. Zuckerberg broke the law, spending millions of dollars. Don't you think he broke?
Destroyed by people who perhaps have no right to destroy it? That's everybody. Nobody has the right to destroy this country. Perhaps.
Broke the law?
Does he think that some people do have the right to destroy this country?
Millions of dollars to get out the vote efforts in highly Democrat areas. You know, he used to come to the White House. He'd call, oh, could I have dinner with you, sir? Sure. Could I bring my wife? Oh, absolutely. He actually walked into the office one day in front of numerous people. Congratulations, sir. Why? He said, you're number one on Facebook.
No, Tracy, you're correct. Disposable income. Trump is not number one on Facebook. Not even close.
He said to me,
he's not even on Facebook.
Number one on Facebook. I said,
thank
you very much. I appreciate it.
He probably said you're the number one politician on Facebook, which still isn't true. Cristiano Ronaldo, I think, the soccer player, is number one on Facebook. I could be wrong. It could be Britney Spears. I don't know. But it's not Trump.
We had a nice dinner. The day I was out, he became rather, well, I guess it's human nature.
What?
But we can't let our country be run by that kind of human nature, can we? Zuckerberg, it's another beauty.
Okay.
But they say they may allow me back in 2 years. No, I'm not too interested in that. They may allow me back in 2 years. We got to stop that. We can't let it happen. So unfair.
Okay.
They're shutting down an entire. I'm not too interested. Zuckerberg, it's another beauty. But they say they may allow me back in 2 years. No, I'm not too interested in that. They may allow me back in 2 years. We got to stop that. We can't let it happen. So unfair.
Agreed.
They're shutting down an entire group of people. Not just me. They're shutting down the voice of a tremendously powerful, in my opinion, a much more powerful and a much larger group. Because you know what? When the Democrats say defund the police, open borders, sanctuary cities, all of these horrible...
By the way, I was thinking about that. It's time for the Democrats to say, we're not defunding the police. Stop saying defund the police. Reform the police is fine. The Democratic Party has got to come out and say, before the midterms, we are in favor of the police. The police need to be reformed. The police need more funding. The police need better training. The police need more social workers to help when they're dealing with insane people. But not coming out directly over and over again and supporting the police and not coming out and saying, we do not want to abolish the police. That is the fringe. That is not us. Because the fringe is going to vote for them anyway.
Horrible cancel culture.
It's just, the Republicans say we're not racist all the time. Everybody's equal. And you know what? The racists still vote for the Republicans. It's fine. You can go ahead and alienate the people that are going to show up and vote anyway.
Sure things. Their policy is terrible. And I say a lot now. There's no way they go 50-50.
They say what?
Who horrible, horrible cancel culture things. Their policy is terrible. And I say a lot now. There's no way they go 50-50. Who the hell wants to defund the police? Look at what's happening where they're defunding the police. The crime rate is going up by 50, 60, 100%, 131% in one city. They don't even know what to do, but they keep doing it. The policy is so bad. You know what? They're smart, and I said, they're vicious, and they stick together. But I don't believe it's 50-50, because our country isn't there. We're not a 50-50 country to defund the police and to have sanctuary cities where criminals are allowed to be protected. I'm telling you, I think a lot of these elections where they always seem to have an advantage, I don't believe it. I can't believe that some of these states that are blue, that they're blue. I know those people. They're smart people. And I see so many people. They love me because they love what I stand for. And they're not into these things. There's something going on, and we have to be very, very careful with our election process. because I don't believe we're a 50-50 nation where these states are split evenly. They can't be split. This is corrupt elections, possibly, and we can't allow it to go on. And I can tell you, and you'll see it because more and more it's coming out, the things that happened in the recent election, dead people voting, dead people. Worse is dead people voting who had to apply to vote.
What?
So you had people that are dead that applied to vote. And by the way, I'm talking about thousands of people, thousands.
There have been sparse examples of dead people voting specifically, because dead people don't vote, by the way. A relative will vote for them, or a husband or whatever will vote for his wife. In Pennsylvania, at least 2 people voted for their dead mothers for Trump. Texas, somebody voted for Trump for a dead relative. They don't swing elections. But dead people actually registering to vote? I haven't seen an example of that. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but did it mean 6-7 million votes? No, it did not.
And thousands of people, dead people. Illegal aliens voting.
Nope,
didn't
Indians
happen. Getting paid to vote.
No, an illegal alien cannot vote. You cannot register to vote.
Vote in certain states, including Arizona.
Who?
And thousands of people, thousands and thousands of people, dead people. Illegal aliens voting. Indians getting paid to vote in certain states, including Arizona and Nevada.
It's like, he said Indians, and I thought people from India. Okay, right. But you're not supposed to give people gift cards to vote. But you there's a difference between that and telling them for whom to vote. If they're told them, here, I'll give you $50 to vote for this specific person, then yeah, that is absolutely 100% illegal. And that was investigated. I don't think that was the case. But if it was, great, prosecute. Put them in jail. Can't do that.
Getting paid to vote. You're not allowed to get paid to vote. It's a terrible thing
that's true.
Going on. We have to clean up those rolls. We have to do so many things. Or we're not going to have a country if you don't have election integrity.
Good luck, Stephanie.
And if you don't have strong borders,
you're still going to have a country.
Our country can be run like a dictatorship, and that's what they'd like to do.
That's what you would like to do. That's what your fans would like to do. To be in the White House, even though you clearly lost the election, certified by all 27 Republican governors, certified by all 29 Republican secretaries of state. All of them. Every one. Every single one.
I don't even think Biden is the dictator. If anybody knows who the hell is running that operation, could you let us know? Because I don't think it's Joe, but who the hell knows? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. And with all of the things currently going on, especially the prosecutorial misconduct that's going on at a level like nobody's seen for many months.
Here we go.
And with all of the things currently going on, especially the prosecutorial misconduct that's going on at a level like nobody's seen for many, many years. That's all that's happening. And that's what they're doing. They want to silence you. They want to silence your voice. Remember, I am not the one trying to undermine American democracy. I'm the one that's trying to save it. Please remember that. Thank you. Thank you. We all know what happened with the election, and we can never, ever let that happen again. And we're going to go forward, and we're going to continue to look, and things are being found that is not even believable. But we have to do that, because without going back, you're not going to go forward. The thing that I get most is that, sir, we can't let that happen again. Found that is not even believable. But we have to do that, because without going back, you're not going to go forward. The thing that I get most is that, sir, we can't let that happen again. If we're gonna work and spend money and make contributions, sir, will the same thing happen in 2022 to Ted and to other people? Will the same thing happen as happened in 20? We have to be able to say absolutely not. That's why I love what they've done in Texas. I love what they're doing in Florida and done in Florida. I would like to see Georgia be much tougher. They don't have signature verification. They don't have things. The Georgia has to be tougher. But I love what's going on in so many states, 41 different states, because they saw what happened in this last disaster, and they don't want it to happen again. And the only way you're going to be able, I would like to see Georgia be, because they saw what happened. Signature verification, they don't have things. The Georgia has to be tougher. But I love what's going on in so many states, 41 different states.
What? What's going on in 41 different states? Are they passing tougher voter restrictions in 41 different states? Does anybody know what he's talking about there?
Tougher, they don't have signature verification, they don't have things. The Georgia has to be tougher. But I love what's going on in so many states, 41 different states, because they saw what happened in this last disaster, and they don't want it to happen again. And the only way you're going to be able to really solve that problem is to figure out exactly what happened. And you know what? They're going to be able to do that.
41
in light
different
of so
states?
many outrageous wrongs, Republicans across the country are pursuing voting reforms to ensure election integrity. One of the biggest things that I hear is election integrity. Joe Biden called these common sense reforms un-American. But the thing that is really un-American is an election scam. That's un-American. You know, all over the world, they used to say, oh, they're the land of the free. They have great elections. We don't have great elections. We have elections like probably very few countries have, and that's in a bad way, not in a good way. What happened to this country in that last election was a disgrace, and it's being laughed at and viewed all over the world. And I can tell you China is extremely happy about it, and Russia is extremely happy about it. They're all very, very happy about it. Probably in order, I would say China, and then I would say Iran, and then I would say many countries.
Okay.
I could go through a list of them.
But not
China
Russia.
is certainly happy. Iran is certainly happy.
Not
Think
Russia.
of it. If the bill passed by the House Democrats, H.R. 1, is ever signed into law, there will never be another fair election in our country. It can't get worse, but it would be almost as bad as the recent presidential election. To fully secure every future election, we must have photo ID, universal signature verification, citizenship confirmation, chain of custody integrity controls, updated voter rolls for every election. You got to update those voter rolls, not people that have been dead for 9 years. We can't have illegal aliens allowed to vote. Strong protection of poll watchers. Our poll watchers are poor, poor poll watchers. What happened to them in Philadelphia? What happened to them in Detroit, where they were literally thrown out of election for days and were actually afraid for their lives? And we cannot have drop boxes paid for by Facebook and Zuckerberg.
What?
By the way, massive numbers, 96% of the vote is for Joe Biden. Doesn't happen.
Nope.
You ever
Didn't
see
happen.
these drop boxes? Some of them came back very late. They got lifted, taken. Where are they? A day later. Where are they? Oh, they're coming. Oh, great. That's wonderful. 96% for Joe Biden.
Nope.
We must eliminate the absurdity of mass mail-in voting, and people should vote in person on Election Day, not over weeks and months where all sorts of things can happen. And
Okay, so he wants to get rid of early voting as well. Not just drop boxes, not just secure drop boxes, not mail-in balloting. By the way, there are people who cannot vote in person, but only voting in person. I can't believe that nobody else has picked up on this. This is beyond ridiculous.
where are they? A day later, where are they? Oh, they're coming. Oh, great. That's wonderful. 96% for Joe Biden. We must eliminate the absurdity of mass mail-in voting, and people should vote in person on Election Day, not over weeks and months where all sorts of things can happen, and they're not good things for our country. And there should have to be a legitimate reason for someone to vote absentee. There are people that deserve it. They're sick. They're at a certain age. They can't make it, and they love our country. There's a certain group of people, military, but to do what you did, where you're sending out millions and millions. And by the way, I don't know if those of you that are really into the world of politics, you know that I called this long before when I heard what they were doing, how they were allowed to do this, send out millions and millions of ballots. Some people got 6, some people got 7 ballots. To send out millions of ballots to allow that to happen to our country. We know the radical left will stop at nothing in their efforts to destroy the America we love. But with the help of righteous American patriots like all of you in this room, they will fail. Our movement is far from over. In fact, it is just getting started.
Okay.
Here in North Carolina, across the country, the Republican Party will continue to fight for strong families, safe communities, and secure and sovereign borders. We will fight for more jobs, lower taxes, and pro-American trade deals that result in more North Carolina workers forging more products stamped with beautiful, beautiful phrases, but in particular, made in the USA, Mr. Furniture Manufacturer.
Mr. Furniture Manufacturer.
We will shut down outsourcing, bring back our supply chains, crack down on trade cheaters and violators, and ensure that America, not China, dominates the future of the world. We will protect innocent life. We will defend our glorious Constitution, and we will uphold the Judeo-Christian values and principles of our nation's founding.
Oh, a whole bunch of dogs just came running.
We will break up the big tech monopolies, reject left-wing cancel culture, restore free speech in America.
We will cancel the big tech we'll cancel them. We'll stop cancel culture.
And demand free, fair, and honest, transparent elections. We will strengthen our military, support our great police, and always take care of our amazing veterans. Do you know that we got a 92% approval rating with respect to the VA? They rated us 92% approval rating. It's never been anywhere even near that number.
That's not true.
We're proud of that. And with the American pride that fills our souls, we will teach our children to love their country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. Tomorrow marks the 77th anniversary of one of the most epic military triumphs in the history of the world, the Allied invasion of Normandy on D-Day. As we remember this incredible achievement, let us summon the spirit of generations of Americans before us who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for our beloved country. All of us in this room inherit the legacy of the selfless patriots who won the battles, crossed the oceans, forged the steel, made the breakthroughs, climbed the summits, these great, beautiful summits, tamed the frontiers, and seized the victories that built America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world. And that's where we want to keep it. That is our magnificent American inheritance. And there is nothing like it anywhere in the world, and there never will be. So let us go forward tonight, moved by their sacrifice, motivated by their example, inspired by their resolve, committed to their values, and more determined than ever to make America prouder, freer, stronger, and greater than ever before. Thank you, North Carolina. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Shut up. Oh my God, loud. Okay, so that was that. So I'm going to take those now, and if I have the time, edit them down into a Lost in Trumpslation. So thank you for joining me. Happy Monday to you. Let's just, before we leave, let's just say something that we're looking forward to this week. Doesn't have to be a major thing. This was kind of my Monday tradition that I stole from Horse Whisperer on Twitter, because he does a Friday. What are you thankful for? I like to look forward. So what is one thing you're looking forward to? Doesn't have to be a big thing. I have several things this week I'm looking forward to. Tomorrow, I play my first actual post-COVID hockey game. So like with referees and two teams, everybody wearing the uniforms they're supposed to be wearing. So I'm really looking forward to that. I know Stephanie's going into the dentist, so I don't know if Stephanie has... Do you have something else later in the week, Stephanie? Oh, no stitches today! She's looking forward to not having stitches today. That's good enough. Anybody else? I'm getting a new laptop. That's a big deal. Doesn't have to be a big deal, folks. Just something that you're looking forward to, that you want to share with other people. It can be, I got new coffee. 13-year-old is getting his first vaccine today. That's a huge thing, Jessica. So congratulations to you. Freedom clap for you. 13-year-old is, thank God. That is life-changing. That is fantastic. Anybody else before we get going here? Anybody else got something? And you know what? I might later, if I do it later today, and if you guys want to share with me editing, I think I've done that a couple of times, usually late at night, and you people come and you people. Oh, you people. Now we're you people. So maybe we'll share that. I don't know that it's great, entertaining video, but we might do that later. We'll just keep the chat room open. What else? Anybody else got anything else they're looking forward to this weekend? What makes your life worth living this weekend? This week. Oh, waiting. That was it? Just a new laptop and a vaccination. Anybody else got anything? It can be you've got something you're making for dinner. It can be going to a real movie. I don't know. I tell you what I'm not looking forward to. And it's been more than a full day. It's been 2 full days since this happened, so I don't think I'm going to spoil anything. But if you haven't watched the French... If you don't know anything about Roger Federer and you want to know stuff about Roger Federer, then go ahead and turn off, because I'm going to break some news about Roger Federer. Roger has won like 20 Grand Slams. He's amazing. He's maybe the greatest tennis player in history. He had taken off of COVID. He had 2 knee surgeries. I think he'd come back. This was his first major tournament. And he got through the first 3 rounds or 4 rounds. I don't know. I watched some of his match yesterday or 2 days ago, but I watched it yesterday where he won in 4 sets. So just a wonderful. And the thing about Roger, he's old school. He does the drop shots and stuff, the balls that spin across the net and then just stop and come back the other way. He does that sort of thing in a power game. Everything today is about back and forth, long baseline hits. Roger Federer won, and then today he announced that he's going to be taking the rest of the tournament off. So he got to the round of 16, which is awesome for a 39-year-old guy who just got back from knee surgery. But he lost. Getting pool set up this weekend. Jessica's winning this, guys. Anyway, so Roger Federer's out. Naomi Osaka, who was the favorite in the women's matches branch, the women's side of the French Open, she retired after winning her first match because she's suffering from depression. She didn't want to speak to the media. She was fined something like $20,000, $15,000 or whatever for not speaking to the media. And then the next day she decided, like, it's too emotionally draining on me. So she's not going to compete. Quite frankly, I don't care whether athletes speak to the media or not. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. And I'm a huge sportsing fan. But whether they actually talk to... I don't care. Just go out there and perform on the field. Entertain me that way. And I don't need to know... You know, if you want to say something about it, great. But honestly, it's pretty rare that an athlete says anything of interest during a press conference. What are you going to have to do to win next time? Well, we're going to have to make some adjustments on defense. You know, we play as a team. Really, everyone's got to pull their own weight. And then, as we cooperate, we got a great team right here, real solid group of guys. And if we just keep doing what we're supposed to do, we should come out ahead. Yeah, the other team, you got to give credit to the other team. Our team's a good team. They played a good, solid game. They kept to their system, and they really they put it to a couple of lucky breaks here and there. We had our chances. Got to capitalize on those chances. There you go. That's every athlete's interview for all time. We're done with it. All right, you guys have calmed down now. I don't even know if anyone's even still watching. Andy says, calm down. A calm working week at home office cause schools opened nationwide. At the home office because schools open nationwide this week. Schools open in Germany. Yay! That's great at the French Open. Getting back to what's going on in Europe. At the French Open, the main stadium where they play the night games now has a roof on it, and they're not allowing anybody in there. The outdoor games, people can come, socially distanced, mask wearing. That's where Europe is right now. Europe doesn't have anywhere near the vaccine level of distribution that we have here in the United States. So, yay for us. And that's something that the Trump administration deserves credit for, ordering a ton of vaccines before we even knew they were viable. But good for them, and I fully give them credit. Biden has given them credit on multiple occasions for getting this whole thing going. And still, I'm seeing from the right wing that that they refuse to give Trump any question. I have two recordings of Biden doing so, including the minute he got the vaccine. Are they ready to open? Are the schools ready to open? Who knows? But Andy can answer that question. But he can do that off the air. Those are some good things we look forward to this week. I have a whole week worth. I look forward to things. I'm an optimist. And I just think I'd be a terrible pessimist. I wouldn't be good at it. So I just don't see it working out. That's enough for now, guys. Trump vaccine his people refuse to take. Yeah, there's such an intellectual disconnect between the Trump vaccine and people who follow Trump refusing to take the Trump vaccine because they don't know if it's safe. A huge part of that is Trump not taking the vaccine publicly. It's all the deep state. Speaking of deep state, guys, I'm being canceled, so I gotta let you go. You guys take care. We will see you another time. Bye-bye.